Hi there. Yeah, so this is going to be a little something new. I'm thinking of maybe calling this the Moves News. So you can see that I'm Gary, right? I don't have to call it the Gary Moves News, but unless there's any complaints coming in, I think maybe that'll be my working title. The Moves News. The Moves News. The Moves News. The Moves News. Here it is, the Moves News. So, yeah, I just set up my studio here. It's a rainy day, and I feel a little guilty about not going to CrossFit today, but it would have been a rainy ride for 45 minutes, closer to an hour actually to get there in the rain, both each way an hour. So I elected instead actually to make this video. It's not such a bad thing, and I'm going to go skating later in a few hours. So that's why if you see me stretching during the Gary moves, during the moves news, excuse me, I know that you'll cut me a lot of slack because I'm just starting this. So I'm bound to make plenty of mistakes. And yeah, okay, I could be a total perfectionist and rehearse every word so that it's and create all kinds of humor and plans for uh, covering the topics thoroughly and not missing anything and, you know, retaking if I stutter or stammer and the editing process can go on and on and on and on. I know because I'm going to be publishing very soon, actually, my book, most recent book that I've been writing, and the working title now for that is Figure Skating Out. And it's going to be, it's kind of a, because I've been in figure skating for so long, and I'm also a bit of a wordy. I've been doing crossword puzzles all my life, and I learned a lot of languages, and I like words. So the thing is, I wrote this book as kind of in a very literary fashion, let's say. This book will be for the most educated uh, people or those who want to become educated. Because the thing about words is I don't use words just to impress people, and I use words just to kind of like make language interesting. And I want to be understood first and foremost, but I don't want to either just appeal to the least common denominator. So, my videos are pretty presentable and understandable for the average, everyday type of person. But for the literati, the intelligentsia, and also I cover very, very deeply all my most important secrets or insights into my craft, my sport, figure skating. So this book is the book that I want to write. This is my sharing. This is an important kind of legacy type of thing for me, and I think it'll have legs. I think it'll be uh, a classic type of book because I've spent so much time, uh, learning what I do, living a lifestyle that I do, having been a practicing figure skater for more than over half a century. So, yeah, I want to figure skate as well as I can, and so I'm sharing in this book, uh, and the book will be a good promotion for my channel as well. I think, I mean, even if people aren't interested in reading this book because it's kind of like not only it's not dry, it's a work of art, and by reading this book, you don't actually read this book, you study it, and it's not going to be a tome. It won't be a huge long volume. It'll be less than 100 pages, and maybe even only about, I'm trying to whittle it down. I'm trying to get it to 50 pages, make it really pithy. But it's there. I think in concepts, and so words express concepts. So I have many words in the book that many of you won't be familiar with. And if you take the time to look them up, or if you even take the time to ponder the meaning of specific words in the text as you come to them, you'll get a lot more out of the book. So yeah, that's coming before too long. Actually, I'm sitting on my drum. I figured out that this drum, if I sit with this drum kind of between my legs, is that adductor muscles. I'm squeezing the drum with my adductor muscles, and then if I move a little back and forth or change my position or lean forward or backward, I can really get a good, because this is hard to do with a foam roller, right? It's hard to do maintenance. There's various ways you can get those adductors, give your adductors a little massage. And this drum is a very good way of doing it. And while I've got the drum out, let me just practice my rhythm right now. Why not, huh? And this is not just, okay, I'm not a professional musician, so why would you want to hear Gary Beacom drumming? Well, I'll make it a little bit didactic. I'll teach you something. And I think it's good for you to do a little drumming every day, particularly figure skaters, but really anybody. It's good to have a sense of rhythm. And it's especially important for us dancers, us figure skaters. Moving to music is, of course, dance. And you'll see that when I drum, I also dance. And many musicians do this, singers, guitar, drummers. They're not just doing the bare minimum to make the sound, but they're all, it's kind of infused into their body, this rhythm kind of thing. And so that's very helpful to keep a rhythm if you get your body into it and do a little dance as you're drumming. So I'm just holding this between my legs in a crouch. This is also a good kind of like, I'm just working an athletic position here. This is not sustainable for very long, maybe for a couple minutes. Let me just start very simple. Yeah, that's good practice, and that's a good warm up for me, because since I'm going to skate later, I want to be able to move to music. It's part of our sport, and having a good sense of rhythm also helps with timing for jumps, because we want to have the jumps are going to be all a lot easier if we have a sense of rhythm going into our jumps. So just thought I'd share that. And what else do we have in the Gary Moves news? The Moves news. We have, I got a request. Somebody asked about like things we take for granted. As teachers, we take sometimes too much for granted in the people we're trying to teach. We use words maybe that we assume that everybody knows the meaning of, but people really don't. So you're not really getting through to a person. And I talk about a lot about how to have ambient relaxation in the whole body, really, but especially in the foot. So we don't want to have unnecessary tensions in our feet any more than we do in our shoulders and jaw and elsewhere in the body. But somebody asked, well, Gary, how do you relax your feet? And I'm like, oh, Is it really? Like, just, I mean, I can do it. I can relax my feet. Why can't you? Oh, okay. Well, if somebody, like, not everybody, it's excusable that you don't think a lot about relaxing your feet, because somebody who's been in sports all their life and I'm curious about finding new and better ways of doing things. And it's only been a fairly recent discovery for me about the benefits of ambient relaxation in the body and the feet. So how do you relax your feet? Well, one thing is, this is a kind of a catch-22 kind of thing. Your balance will be better if you can relax your feet and not have tensions. And conversely, if your balance is better, then you can relax your feet more. If your balance is not so good, you're going to be clenching, and your the weight distribution is going to be moving around underneath your feet. And so you're going to be working those feet muscles a lot more. Your feet are going to probably get tired and hurt even. You beginners, you skate 10 or 15 minutes trying to balance on that slippery sheet of ice. And ouch, my feet, I got to go take my skates off. I got to go rest. Yeah, well, for me, having skated all my life for like 20,000 hours or whatever, something, I've established pretty good balance to the point where I can relax my feet, because I don't have to make the adjustments, the balance adjustments that some skating beginner would have to do. So that's the first thing, and probably the most important thing about relaxing your feet. I mean, just thinking about, like, asking yourself, well, do I have tension in my feet? And how is the weight distribution under my foot? Is my weight fairly evenly distributed? Am I using that whole foot? Am I pressing down more in a particular place than in other places? Can I examine my insole of my shoe and see by the colorations where I tend to put more pressure? And yeah, so just being aware and putting some thought into relaxing your feet, how the feet feels and how you're using it, that can help. And also then, thinking about keeping your balance better by the other ways of keeping your balance good, which is, strong in that solar plexus, strong in that core, or at least, and very aware here, so this part of the body is not undulating around randomly, and so you're very steady right here. And you're breathing well. Your breathing is smooth and relaxed and full. What are some of the other ways of improving balance? How you use the foot is a way of monitoring your balance. If your balance is perfect, then you can totally relax your feet. But frankly, if your balance is not perfect, no, you can't. You should be using, the muscles in your feet, toes, and different things to do little minor corrections of your balance. So I hope that helps you understand a little bit better, at least the topic, and we can keep the conversation going. And what else is in the news today? Well, the news isn't so much necessarily about what happened as about what I've been pondering recently that I can share with my viewers and subscribers on this channel. And I'm multitasking now too, if you don't mind, because I'm going skating later, but I don't just sit around all morning and then go to the rink and do a lot of warm-up exercises and get on the ice and skate. I get up in the morning. I don't like to sit down for more than 5 or 10 minutes at a time. So even if I'm sitting at the computer doing something, maybe studying a language or something, after every lesson, 5 or 10 minutes, I get up and I do either some foam rolling, I do some kind of body maintenance or some stretching. Right now I'm stretching my lower back. I hope you don't mind. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe I'm not giving full attention to you. You know, I'm thinking also about myself and the condition of my body, but take it as an example and as an inspiration that you can, and if you're pretty open-minded too, you can do even these kind of stretching exercises out in public. Yeah, do it while you're waiting at the bus stop. Or maybe you're standing in line at the bank. Is that just downtime? No, you're touching your toes. You're doing your exercises, right? Yeah. Yeah, so dichotomies. Now, I mentioned that I'm a bit of a wordy, and here's another word that probably not everybody, it's not an everyday word, dichotomy. A dichotomy is, look it up if you, I can give you a definition. A dichotomy is sort of like the more you have of this, the less you have of that. That's a dichotomy when there's two competing forces. And an example of a dichotomy in figure skating is jumping and turning. And let me explain how. So on the takeoff of a jump, you're jumping, you're thinking about jumping, and you're also thinking about turning. You want to get both of those things happening for your jump. But interestingly, on the actual launch of the jump itself, the more you're turning, like pre-rotating kind of thing, the more turn you have on that takeoff, the less you're going to be able to jump. The more difficult it is going to be to jump. And conversely, the less rotation you have on the takeoff of the jump, the easier it is to jump higher. So, and you want to find if you understand that dichotomy between jumping and turning on the takeoff of a jump, you can be more deliberate about how you want to plan your jump. You plan and develop your jumping technique. And also you know, it's understanding that concept and that word dichotomy as it applies to the launching of a jump. It's going to help you with your jump, give you a better understanding of what your options are, because there are many, many ways of doing certain jumps. As you get into the quadruple, there's not as many ways. I noticed that people that do quadruples look more similar than different, whereas axles, single axle, we see so many different styles of single axles that you can get away with. But when you start getting up into triples and especially quads, better do things the optimum way, which is not, there are still some considerations about, you know, the technique. You can still have some play, some leeway as far as how you engineer the jump, but that becomes more, you have to be a little more precise in your technique probably to do quadruple jumps. But yeah, so there's a dichotomy. And what other news is there to share with you? We can leave it at that for now. How's that? I'll see you in the future. Well, I didn't mention... Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay. Ciao, that's enough. Cut!